Hello folks, welcome to Deer Corner. I'm getting ready for this weekend. What I'm doing is switching things out of my day pack that I use during hunting and packing through the day, putting it in my larger backpack. I'm planning on backpacking in and do a little camping. And for some of you, I enjoy camping. It's one of the things I do enjoy. I can remember my first time camping. I'm 9 years old, went camping with my brothers, had shower curtains for a tent, and a wool blanket. And that was my first time camping, and I can remember that. I just remember it. We were out in the woods. It was dark. Dad came up with a lantern, told us to put the candles out. We're going to burn the woods down. Then we had a lantern. All along they planned on us to be back at the house by 10 o'clock, but we ended up staying all night. Got up the next morning and we're going to make some oatmeal. And poured water in a tin cup, put the oatmeal in and sugar. We didn't know you had to boil the water. So that's when I started learning and experiencing camping. And I remember that today, remember it for the rest of my life, my first time. But camping's not new. Camping's a heritage. Camping's history of this country. And a lot of people don't know that. Back in 1492, when Santa Maria landed, of course, Christopher Columbus. Do you think that they telegraphed ahead to the American Indian that 110 Americans or 110 adults were showing up and make arrangements for some log cabins? Nah. Same thing with Jamestown and Plymouth Rock. When they landed, and one of the things out of Jamestown, the men were given a knife. It was the very first item. So if you're planning to do some camping, your very first item should be a knife. And that's what I have. I have a long blade sheath knife, and I always carry a pocket knife. A multi-function pocket knife. Screwdriver, pliers, scissors. But this corkscrew, if you ask somebody today that don't know anything about camping what this corkscrew is, they'll say open a wine bottle. Well, you'll see Boy Scouts have these knives, and how many Boy Scouts you see carry wine with them. This screw is to screw in a wood or a tree for an anchor point. That's what it's made for. That's what it's for. But it's simple things like that that you need to learn. But I'm packing in my furthest deer stand from the cabin, as the crow flies, is a little over 3,000 feet from here. So it's a little over, not quite, but a little over a half mile, our first deer stand, our last deer stand. And I'm going to be packing beyond it. So I'm getting my gear ready, and one of the things getting your gear ready, and that's weight. Years ago now, I could have took 40-45 pounds. Now it's about 30, maybe less. I don't know. But weight in packing, that's a key thing. My favorite axe I like to carry is heavy, broad and heavy. Now I'm carrying aluminum alloy axe, which is light, cuts weight down. So things like that you have to consider. Food. I'm carrying food, but I'm carrying in dry food from Adventure. This is called Adventure Meals. Excellent, I like it. All you do is add hot water, stir it up. This is chili mac and beef. And I also pack in crackers, some little candy bars to snack on. Now, one of the things when our forefathers landed, the Jamestown or Plymouth Rock, one of the things that they had to have was water. And that's one of the reasons they ended up where they did, because they had an adequate supply of clean water. And that's the same thing when you're backpacking. Now I can get by with 2 cups, but I carry an extra 2 cups just in case. If you get by with a cup, carry 2 cups. You get by 2 cups, carry 4 cups. Now that adds weight, but you have it if you need it. And the other thing is first aid. I got a small first aid kit for burns, cuts, things like that, bug bites. I pack it. So all these items I'm packing starts adding up in weight. So you have to be careful on what you pack. Now your lighting, I do have a light. I'm taking this light, but this light here is a survival light. You crank it to charge it. You never need batteries. Batteries never wear out. Batteries never go dead, and you're never without a light. That's another item. Another item that you must have is a way to start a fire. So I carry 3 ways of starting a fire. I always carry my propane. I always carry a book of matches. And I always pack a flint. And I very seldom use it, but yes, it may come in necessary. But not only does this flint can start a fire, it also has a compass. Now you get down in these hills and hollers back up in here, you can get turned around very easy. I still do. When the foliage in midsummer and you're looking down, you're walking along, and you're not paying attention, you finally look up and you don't know where you're at. That's a fact. That's how people get lost when they get off of trails. And then my other lighting I'm going to be using. This is a Scout propane light. And that's another bad advantage, but a good advantage. The bad advantage is weight, because I have to carry a 1-pound cylinder of gas. Therefore I got to start limiting something to keep my pack down. But the lighting's excellent. Now, one of the reasons I chose to take this with me is for the heat, because they're talking it could get down to the high 30s, low 40s. A chance of thunderstorms and sleet. But one of these lanterns on 1-pound tank in the tent that I'm taking will burn from 14 to 16 hours, and it will heat that tent pretty well. I've had it up to 70 degrees in 30-degree weather with a wind. So it will heat that tent pretty good. And I have light. But the downfall is the mantle. You burn it, you touch the mantle, falls apart. You got to carry excess mantles with you to replace the mantle that's in this lantern. But as far as I'm going and I'm concerned, this is an excellent choice for lighting and heat. And I will bring that along when I'm out there. My cooking, heating my water for my coffee, of course. Got to have a cup of good coffee. And I use what I call, or is called, a hobo stove. It's nothing but a tin can with holes in the bottom and a grate that goes on top. Takes very, very little wood, sticks, twigs, start your fire in it, put your cup on top of it, put your water in your cup, and just sit there and throw a twig in it now and then. Heats up your water. Therefore, I can pour it in my adventure meal pack or make my coffee. I don't have a big fire, I don't have a big mess, I don't have to worry about burning down the woods. And it's simple tricks and things like this that make backpacking fun. It's actually, to me, is a good time. I enjoy doing it, been doing it over 50 years. Now, up here, we have an issue right now, and it's not, to me it's not an issue, to some people it is. It's the bear. And as far as I have never had a bear come after me. I've always had them turn and go away. But there's always that chance, and that is goes with your meals. If you're out there eating honey buns, sweet cakes, cake, pies, something like that that will attract them, yeah, they're going to come to your camp. So you got to watch what you eat. But there's always that chance. Now, a lot of people, and I've seen it on YouTubes and commercials, and oh, you got to pack your bear spray. Well, I do have bear spray, and there's one thing I will tell you about using this stuff. If you're in a tent, you're in your cabin, you're in your camper, and that bear's getting in there, and you spray this inside something like that, you're going to be running that bear over to get away from it yourself. And that bear's going to stand there, and you're going to have to trip over him to get away from this stuff. This stuff is only for outdoor use. And don't spray it into the wind. You want to make sure you're down upwind when you spray this stuff. You get it on your clothes, you're going to wish you didn't. And as far as camping and where I go and what I do, I don't take it. Don't use it. Like I say, you spray it in your tent. You spray it in your camper and see who runs faster, you or the bear. What I found works is a simple whistle. Now, some of you people have, fishermen especially, I'm pretty sure a whistle is one of the things you have to have on your boat. Same thing camping, same thing backpacking, same thing deer hunting. You should pack a whistle. One, if something's happened to you, you're injured, people are looking for you, you can blow your whistle. If you need to get someone's attention, you can blow the whistle. Such as I'm saying, to have the bear, because a bear is not used to a whistle, nor have they ever heard one. They will turn and go away. So these are quite a few things here that I learned that I've used to go backpacking with. I'm taking a TP style tent. It weighs about 4.5 pounds. It actually can sleep 3 people. I have an inner liner that I'm carrying with me. I have 2 of them for 2 people, but I'm using it not only for ground cover, but see, that's the other thing this time of year. And up here we have what we call wood rattlesnakes. I've seen them on my property here, but right now it's 65, 70 degrees, they're out. But when it gets cooler at night and you're in your tent, and especially in a sleeping bag, your body heat, they will find you. And they'll crawl under you, believe it or not. So I have a liner, a bug liner, inside the tent, which I'll show. Therefore, if one does get under me, it won't get on top of me or inside the tent with me. And I'll be safe. So there's things you do, or you learn, to be safe out there. Like I always say, you're in the woods, be safe. And one thing I want to talk about is I do not recommend someone to go solo backpacking such as I'm doing. There are no trails. I have about 1,800 foot. My first start is going to be an old road bed. I'm going to come off the road bed, and where I'm going there are no trails. There's no roads. You're going to be out in the woods. And I don't recommend this to any newcomer or somebody that wants to do it. I always going to say go ahead and go out. I don't care if it's in your backyard. Put your tent up. Check it out. Check out what you're camping in, what you're backpacking in. Use it. Cook on it. Eat it. Get used to what you got before you go out and try solo camping. Don't just put it together and then you get out and something's not right. You can end up in trouble. So I'm glad you're along. I will bring you along. Planning to leave out tomorrow, probably about 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll button up the cabin and head on out. I'm not basically going to be far from the cabin, 3/4 of a mile, maybe a mile. But I'm going to go out and stay tomorrow night and possibly another night, 2 nights. And it's going to be at the back side of the property. I just want to bring you along, little history, little heritage. Camping is our heritage. It's history. Lewis and Clark, they didn't have 4-wheel drives and motorhomes. They packed stuff in, just like I'm doing. They had to pack it in. Daniel Boone, Boonesville in Kentucky, going up through Tennessee. That's another one. They didn't have campers, Winnebagos. They had to backpack it in and carry it in. So you got Davy Crockett, Jim Bowie, all them in our history. It's on and on and on of how they had to pack stuff in. And that brings to another little story, not to be rambling on, but St. Louis, the gateway to the West. And I believe that was the first traveling con, to where people got took traveling. See, the merchants in St. Louis, they didn't care. People were showing up there to go west. They would get these wagons, oxen or horse-pulled or oxen-pulled wagons, and the merchants would sell them everything to the kitchen sink. And that's where weight is an issue. And the people thought they were getting a deal when they were buying them. But what they didn't know was within the first 200 miles of their trip, because of the weight, they were unloading everything. And the merchants, they had people out there picking them up, bringing them back, and reselling them to the next bunch. It is known in some of the places in St. Louis that a dresser drawer was sold 3 times by the same merchant. So it just goes to show you weight. Weight is an issue when you're backpacking. So you have to take what you need. And I'm not going to ramble on about it. I'm going to finish packing up my bag right here and get ready to head out. And I'll bring you along. And like I say, if you're in the woods, be safe. You'd rather be safe than sorry. And thanks for watching.